Joining us now, a mountain of a man who was the first Division I football player to be legally blind, playing a game, USC alum, author, scratch golfer. Like we could do a whole laundry list of what this dude has accomplished, but right now bringing him onto the show, Jake Olson. Jake, first of all, how we feeling, man? Happy Thanksgiving. The folks are watching this on Thanksgiving. How are vibes right now for you?
Happy Thanksgiving. Well, JD, should we introduce them to and maybe even invite any of your
yeah, why not? How about you explain it?
Yeah. So for those who want to get on JD's level, really it's JD's level because he introduced it to me. So we go ahead and weigh ourselves right as you get up before you put a drop of water, juice, or whatever you drink, whiskey in the morning, whatever it is, right? And you weigh yourself. You get that raw number. And then at nighttime, after you've stuffed yourself with everything you can look at and more, you're going to get a second number. And the largest number, the largest differential is the winner. So I think JD's like, 6 years running here. He like cuts for this thing. He's like a pride fighter. He's like
a lot of Martinelli's at the end there, man, to kind of cork the bat a little bit. But I mean, regardless, I'm excited to see where we fall this year, man. How are we feeling about what's going on with USC? Because there's so much talk around, just the way that this year unfolded, and there's so much speculation around Lincoln Riley and Caleb Williams. Like, you are so close to this, closer than anybody else. What is your overall pulse on where things stand with USC right now, brother?
Yeah, well, clearly very disappointing, and I think a lot of people are scratching their head wondering what has happened. I think from everyone outside of J.K. McKay Center, where the team are asking themselves, hey, did we make the right decision? I mean, let's just be honest. I mean, that's what they're asking themselves. We gave this guy 10 year, over $100 million contract. Let's actually figure out if that's worth it. So it's going to be it's going to be interesting to come to see the changes that are necessary if those changes are made. Obviously, Grinch is gone, but who's going to be the next defensive coordinator? Is that coordinator going to be someone that is allowed to kind of really run the defense like they had wherever we get him from? Or is it going to be defense and particular special teams, which is close to my heart? Are those two sides of the ball still going to kind of be a little absent from focus in Lincoln's mind? So there's definitely things that could be made, decisions that could be made from Lincoln's standpoint that could really put a lot of confidence in to next year, and he's going to have to do that. I mean, again, people are really questioning. So nothing's beyond nothing's beyond saving. Nothing's happened that's hey, this is just beyond even trying anymore. Like that, it's not that bad. But I tell you, another 7-5 year, it could get there fast, especially in LA, and everyone knows that.
Yeah, I mean, you and I were talking yesterday. Like, the brand of USC is so sacred and carries so much weight. I mean, especially on the West Coast, and that's really been like the West Coast team for the longest time. And now to see it kind of have the year it had last year with expectations so high, obviously a ton of criticism. Where do you fall in the criticism with Lincoln Riley? Because I think there's one thought that, hey, he's an offensive guy. The defense was the problem. We're making changes on the defensive side. Like, it's not on Lincoln Riley. There's probably another train of thought saying, well, hey, if the company's failing, it doesn't matter what department's failing. The CEO is taking the brunt of the blame there. Who's responsible for that? Where do you fall when it comes to all the chatter and the criticism on Lincoln Riley?
Yeah, well, that's, and you said it. I mean, it's valid and it's warranted. I mean, to take a head coaching position, that's what it comes with. You're no longer just an offensive guy, a coordinator or carrying out the offense. You all of a sudden have responsibilities on special teams, defense, offense, recruiting, making sure things are running correctly, answering questions at media days, giving injury reports. All that stuff comes with being a head coach. And in college, now it's talking about meeting donors and raising money and NIL stuff. Like all that stuff comes with being a head coach. So if you want that job and if you want that role, that's what it comes with. If you don't enjoy that stuff, if you don't enjoy, worrying about defense or special teams, if you don't enjoy giving injury reports, if you don't enjoy having to, glad hand donors or deal with the media, then no fault. I mean, I don't know if I would enjoy that, but I'm not also wanting to be a head coach. So it comes with the territory. You pointed out. And so the criticism is very warranted. Now can Lincoln find a happy medium where he is able to do these things that are required of him while also obviously spending most of his time on offense, which is, what he's brilliant at. And we have to give credit where credit is due. I mean, between quarterbacks and just offensive mind, I mean, I don't know if there's anyone better in college than Lincoln Riley, but again, he's asked to be more than an offensive mind.
No, without question. And I think you hit it on the head. Like, there's one thought, well, hey, if it, I think the thought that I would imagine some USC fans have is, well, hey, it's risky sticking with Lincoln Riley going to the Big Ten. It's risky that we get there and this thing happens again and we get off on the wrong foot. And on the other side of things, I'm like, well, the other risk is that you fire or don't have, and firing is obviously a premature conversation. The other risk would be not having arguably the greatest offensive mind and greatest quarterback whisperer / recruiter in college football as your head coach. Where do you fall on the thought around like how much leash someone like Lincoln Riley has? Because we're only in year 2. Last year was a 1-loss season in the regular season, and the kind of the postseason went how it went. This year, obviously, a massive disappointment for the good folks in LA. How much runway do we have here to kind of get things headed the right direction in your mind, Jake?
Well, I mean, so that's a great question. And look, I mean, let's take a larger landscape. Look at the landscape at USC. Mike Bone, who hired Lincoln, is no longer there. Jen Cohen now has come down from Washington. And, everything I'm hearing is that she runs a tight ship. And so, again, another 7-5 season with everything that they're trying to put into that football program is probably not going to be received really well. So, I don't have obviously a number that's like, oh, he's got 2 more years, 3 more, whatever that. But
sure. Yeah. To
be honest with you, I think more, and this is completely speculation. I have not heard anything, but I think more of the question should be, how long does Lincoln want to be in LA dealing with this stuff if he goes 7-5 again? Because I promise you, being around 2 head coaches at USC who struggled with, the full support of the fans, it gets really lonely really fast and really frustrating really fast. And you are left kind of looking around and seeing who's with you. And again, someone like Lincoln who could definitely just have a smooth sail somewhere else.
Totally.
I don't know if he wants the choppy waters in LA.
No, I mean, I think it's a totally valid point. Like, it'd be one thing if it was like, hey, man, this guy just, I don't know, can't hack it. I don't think anybody else is going to hire him to do anything else. Like he could go, you would imagine, have a job in the NFL as a coordinator or a quarterback's coach and not have to recruit anymore. And I don't know if that's something that would be appealing. But like you said, like it's a very interesting spot that we find ourselves in, even having this conversation. Jake, with you having played there, like you said, been under 2 different head coaches, in your mind, what is it that it is going to take to change philosophically? And obviously we're speculating here, philosophically, to have the right guy at USC, whether that's Lincoln Riley, whether that's somebody else. Like, what does it take in your mind to be successful at a place like USC? Because tons of resources, tons of brand power. What does it take to win there?
Well, so I'll answer that just from first a coaching, philosophical, as you pointed out, answer, which is I really do think you need someone there who's going to challenge these LA guys and these SoCal guys, and both you and I played in SoCal. I'm still in SoCal, so I feel comfortable saying this about the people that I'm about to call out here. But LA guys and SoCal guys are not like Tuscaloosa guys or Georgia guys. You got to kind of whip them into shape a little more and find that dog in them. And so I think it's going to take someone to come in there and kind of bruise out the Hollywood glitz and glamour out of these guys. I don't think that competes well against Georgia and Alabama anymore. Now, from a more X's and O's standpoint, look, the Big Ten I think is a lot different than the Pac-12. I think week to week is going to be a lot easier. I think there's going to be less upsets. However, the thing that USC needs to absolutely figure out, and they're going to struggle in the Big Ten until they figure this out, is getting big boys on the offensive and defensive line. If they can do that, I say Ohio State has had success in the Big Ten now for how many years, right? Ohio State is the closest thing in the Big Ten to having the outside talent and skill position talent that USC has year in and year out. USC, I even think, is better than Ohio State on most years in that category and department. and they will continue to be that way. And so if USC can figure out that the two trenches, that will make them probably the top dog in the Big Ten in a matter of a year or 2 years or whatever it is. Whenever they figure it out, they will run the Big Ten just like Ohio State has. The quarterbacks, wide receivers that USC can get, I think will trounce Ohio State on most years. So just watch out, because if USC can figure that out, the Big Ten's going to have a lot to deal with.
And that's the thing, too. Once USC gets rolling, like, there's just so much talent in the backyard. Like, I mean, Orange Lutheran, Mater Dei, Bosco, I mean, De La Salle's up the road. I mean, there's so much talent right in that, backyard for USC, to where if you can just give them a reason to stay and say, hey, if you come here, you will get drafted, we will win games, like it has been in the past. Like, USC's got, so much firepower to work with. Jake, it's Thanksgiving. A lot of huge games this weekend. Anyone specifically that you are watching with a little bit extra attention?
So what I think Jeff Fish is doing down in Arizona is really cool. That's a guy that I think obviously it'd be interesting to see someone like with that kind of culture and attitude come to USC if things don't end up working out. But what he's doing in Arizona is really cool. Oregon obviously plays Oregon State. That will be a very tough game and probably one of the most exciting. It's a Civil War matchup, correct? That's what it's called?
Yeah.
So that's going to be one of the more interesting games probably we've seen between those two teams in a long time, if ever. And depending on that game, Arizona may go to the Pac-12 championship. And I'm just telling you right now, that's a team that Washington does not want to face. I'm just telling you right now, that's a team. Arizona's a team that Washington does not want to face in the Pac-12 championship.
And they played them close. To beat a team twice, Jake. Whether it's Washington or Oregon, I think Arizona was the first team to really show, hey, there's some humanity here with Washington that you can't. I think they held Michael Penix Jr. I could be wrong on this. I think they held him to no touchdown passes the first time around they played, and they won. I think it was by one score. So that would be. I'm 100% with you. To see Arizona there after they've been expecting Oregon, that would be a shock to the senses, to say the very least.
I'm telling you, the Wildcats, man, they there's just teams that get rolling. There's teams that get rolling at the end of the year, and that team is firing on all cylinders, and they have all the confidence in the world that they could probably go to Vegas and win that game.
Hey, man. Hey, you've been to Vegas. You've been there for a Pac-12 championship yourself. You've been to a Rose Bowl. Again, dude's done it all. If you haven't already checked out Jake Olson on Twitter and listened to his story, dude's the man. Follow Jake Olson. Get dialed in here, friend of the show. Personal friend of mine. Jake, I appreciate you, man. I'm sure we're going to be talking throughout the day here, kind of getting our weights situated, if you will, before the clock strikes midnight tonight. But, dude, you're the man. I appreciate you so much, and I'm excited for USC to get things rolling here. It won't stay down. Programs like USC don't stay down. I firmly believe that, but I'm excited to see what they do here in the immediate future.
You have to throw my accolades, another list, another thing on my list of accolades, JD, is being on your show and on 3 here. That's a big deal now these days. So thank you, man.
I appreciate that, brother. You're the man. You're the man. Again, Jake Olson, the man, the myth, the legend. Check him out. Jake, happy Thanksgiving, brother. We'll do this again soon.
Right on, baby.
Hey, y'all. Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also, be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.